All right, everybody, welcome to the sixth annual, if you can believe it, number six, Peralta Online Equity Conference. And we are so grateful that you're here and grateful for our speaker, Dr. Rochelle Newton. Before we start with her, just a few small details. If you would like to use the captions, you may just go down to that Zoom toolbar and click the Show Captions button. We've started a recording, so if you do not want your image to be recorded or your voice, then keep your camera and microphone off, but we encourage participation through the chat. If you wish to ask questions or make comments about Dr. Newton's amazing presentation, then just use that chat to share your ideas. We are also recording these sessions, so if you're watching now in the future, welcome to the conference asynchronously. And we have many sessions throughout the day and for the next couple days, so we hope that you'll stick with us. But today we're here for Dr. Rochelle Newton, who will talk about AI and the future of work, when career pathways disappear, and what equity requires of us. Dr. Newton, take it away.
Thank you so very much. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. Today, we're going to talk about something that has been a bit disturbing for many of us that work in education, specifically higher ed, and that is how AI is disrupting work as we know it. And not simply for those of us that are long in the tooth in our career, but for those of us that are starting careers. And so I'm going to share in my presentation with you some statistics that many have found disturbing, but much of it is true. So if you'll go along with me, I'm going to share my screen with you and share my presentation. I think it's asking you a question that asks, can I share my screen? It's to say, allowed to share screen.
No, it's not asking us that.
No, it's not asking you. I can't share my screen yet.
Yeah, it's not asking me either, and I'm trying to find, oh, there we go.
Let
I
me,
see you now.
okay. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Can you
Yes,
see the
indeed.
PowerPoint
Yes,
screen?
yes, yes.
Excellent, excellent. This is a little blurb about me. You can find me on LinkedIn, and when we get to the bottom, I'll share more about myself. But let me start with this. So, what our students are walking into when they come into higher ed is an environment very different than what it was, say, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Most of you know that what we know about AI came about in 2022 when OpenAI released ChatGPT. AI has been around much longer than that, but what we know today, generative AI, came about with that release. And for most of us, if you saw what Salesforce did in 2024, or what Oracle did at the beginning of this year, releasing thousands of job people back into the workforce that was already a stacked workforce, with the federal government eliminating jobs, companies saying they're eliminating fat, all of this in a very chaotic workforce. And then students who are wondering whether their college degrees matter. And for most of us, we don't have answers. I did a talk a couple of weeks ago at a university. There were more students there than there were faculty. And the questions that were asked over and over and over again was, will my degree matter? Will I be able to find a job once I have this degree? And not just me, I was a primary speaker, but there were tons of faculty that were asking the same question. Is what I'm teaching going to matter to these students? And we really don't have an answer to that because we don't know. We don't know what the outcome of much of this will be. I know 4 people who have committed suicide because they could not find a job after looking for a year. Now, these people were like me. You look and see all this gray hair. In the fall of 2021, I retired from Duke after 15 years there. And I've been working in IT for more than 40, 46, 47 years. I had a catastrophic illness in 2022. And when I thought about going back into the workforce, people who I'd put into jobs told me, we don't have anyone here that is over the age of 50. And when you think about that, combined with AI, that's a really interesting place to be. And so when you look at these numbers, I mean, they may look gaudy, but they're actually factual. They're not made up numbers. These are real numbers. When we think about, how this affects marginalized communities, for white males, this disruption is not so harsh because they're able to, if not collaborate, to use their networks to go back into the workplace. But for many Black and Brown, not only students, but Black and Brown people across the board, the pivot is not so easy. It's not so easy finding people who will put skin in the game, will make a phone call, will put in a word to say, hey, hire this person or consider this person. What we know as social capital before has diminished for these communities. And where do they find the answer? Is college the answer for them? Can they continue with enormous student loans that are coming due now with this administration that is not only garnishing, but are making it harder to find a job? That, what we knew as solid resources that you could go back and depend on the government to support you is no longer there. For these communities, AI, this chaotic workforce and job marketplace is even harder, and yet and still we're encouraging them to go to college. We're encouraging them to get a college degree, but at what cost? Can we, as universities and institutes of higher learning, say that we can ensure that they will get a job when they finish? I will tell you something that happened at North Carolina Central University where I work. Doge, and along with ChatGPT, declined a $300,000 grant that they had because they said it was a DEI grant, and the grant had nothing to do with DEI. But Central had no recourse. There was nowhere they could go back and say, this is not a DEI grant. The money was already lost. And that money affected students across all ethnicities. Central used to be a primarily or historically Black university. Right now, its numbers have grown from 90% Black students to 80% Black students, and that number is increasing every day of ethnically diverse students coming into the university. In 2023, I created these two terms, digital math and life math, to describe the two forks in the road of AI. So digital math is innovation and life math is us. And what is happening with what digital math is doing, although it's effective, is efficient, it makes incredible mistakes. If you've ever sat in front of AI for any period of time, you've seen these hallucinations, you've seen these mistakes it makes. And we're continually counting on it to lead us somewhere. And for these companies who are deploying AI at rapid pace without understanding the consequences of the pace, I'll take Google, for example. Google has two massive data centers. One is in Texas and one is in Iowa. The Iowa data center, and I'm going to talk about water and energy uses first. Google's Iowa data center uses TPU, tensor processing units, and its water uses is reduced significantly. Whereas Texas data centers uses graphic processing units, and its water usage is, I think I saw something, and don't quote me on this. Our data center uses 100,000 gallons of water less than the Texas data centers. And the results of its Gemini and its other processing units, which does not use Gemini, is less accurate than what our data center results are. When you think about this and the rush to deploy AI without any life math, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with humans in the loop, HITL, which is what most AI data centers, LLMs, are built with, is not the black box. The black box effect is not accurate. It doesn't know when it's making a mistake. It doesn't know when something is wrong. It accepts what its information is giving is accurate because it has no way to check its results. The life math piece, which is what I have been advocating for with OpenAI and Anthropic and with Google, with little results, they think I'm a pain in their butts, and I am, because I'm telling them that although you're deploying this, you're not deploying it with human involvement and laying off all of these workers without having any recourse of checks and balances is dangerous. It's not well thought out. If you think about how we deployed social media, we are just now thinking about putting guardrails around social media, and that's not effective. And we're doing the same thing with AI, and we're not thinking about any regulations or any guardrails. Every week, there is a new lawsuit around AI, not simply for corporations, but for end users who are using AI. And every time this happens, I created a Google alert for AI lawsuits. Every day, I get about 20 of these alerts. The life math piece for me is we cannot simply deploy AI without understanding what the risks are for us. Someone asked me in the talk last week, do I believe that AI will replace all work? And I could not answer that adequately without referring to what China is doing. China has used every work model that there is, from a teacher to a hairdresser to a baker to a truck driver, you name the industry, China has put in a AI model in that workplace and has done it successfully. They say that every type of work can be replaced by AI or an AI robot. Now, China is different from democracies like our own, but they're saying that AI can replace every work model that there is. And China does not use universal basic income universally. And I know that doesn't sound right, but what I'm saying is they have systems where not everyone gets an income. Some people are, living on the margins of life. But could we see in democracies like ours, in Europe, and other places where work could be replaced and societies could be reduced to universal basic income? Could that be in our future? And in my talk, I raised that. And there was, people murmurs and didn't believe me, saying I'm crazy. But think about this. If a robot could do hair, could cook, could do every role, and think about what you're seeing here in America. When's the last time you went to a Sam's Club or went to a place where you did not see a human interact with you? Think about when you see the Geico Gecko, or you see these automated things that are talking and acting in human interfaces for us. So the closer we get to seeing more automation, the more likely we are to see AI and AI-like tools, chatbots and bots replace us. Think about when you call something and you're not talking to a human, you're talking to a bot. Every time we get closer to that, we get closer to possibly seeing automation replace humans. Somebody said, oh, well, it can't teach. It's teaching. It can't cook. It's cooking. It can't maintain a farm. It is. All these things are frightening to me, and it should be to all of us. Because people are believing, and when I say people, I'm talking about corporations and organizations are believing that AI can do things that we never thought was possible. There are robots performing surgeries in America. There are people thinking about how they can use AI to live longer. All of these things are a threat to work. So to me, life math, these two terms I created are how we need to stand up against AI automation. And that brings to mind these two camps. There's the people who believe AI can do everything, and there are the people who do not think AI should be used for anything. And the people that are leading this anti-AI camp are young people. The problem with this is that they're all over the place. There are people who will not use AI for anything, and there are people who use AI for some things. So for us in the education camp, we used to worry about plagiarism. That's out of the window. It's gone because you can't tell anymore. You can't tell what AI did. There's this old saying that used to say game recognizes game. For us in the HR world, when someone submits an AI resume and they haven't gone back and taken out all the AI things like the dashes, the abbreviations, the contractions, and all of that stuff, that's what AI recognizes when you submit an AI resume. So that's the AI quotient, if you will. But people have gotten smart and they've taken out all of those things in their work. So students, and I will tell you, I teach computer information science, and I will tell you, I can't recognize when someone has submitted to me an AI document anymore. And publications, people who are publishing papers, you can't recognize where AI is in that paper anymore. So plagiarism is no longer a thing. The things that we have to focus on in education is how to ensure that we are giving our students enough information that they can continue in a college degree and ensure that they can have a job when they get out. The question is, what career, what job can we have for them? Those in the anti-AI camp needs to have us as educators help them understand what's for them. And for us as educators, we need to understand what AI can and cannot do. And we need to make sure we're ensuring that we are teaching our students and giving our students everything that they need to know about what AI is and what AI is not. We don't need to be afraid of it. We need to be strong in our understandings of what AI is and what AI is not. AI is not perfect. AI is incomplete. If you think about anything that we have done, and I'll tell you from my lens, over my career, I have launched probably 30, 40, 50,000 projects. None of them have been complete. And if you think about this, when we write things down, so just take a project, we launched a new data center at Duke. We documented a lot of what we did, how we did it, the devices, all the things. We trained our departments and all that stuff, but we didn't write down everything. We left a lot out because in communications and passing and working with teams, we did not document all that we did. But think about that's what we gave AI. AI and the people who designed and developed AI, they scraped everything they could and they dumped that in AI. But all the things that were left out is what causes those hallucinations. The information that was not given to AI, the information that has not been there, Reddit and Medium and all these sites that have incomplete or inaccurate information, all that was dumped in AI. So if you can imagine, AI makes mistakes because it was incomplete. I'll tell you an example. There was a lawyer in 2025, I believe it is, had a very important case. Instead of the lawyer going through and checking all the pieces and parts, he turned his entire brief over to AI. The case, I think it was a $250,000 case he had. Guess what? He lost. Because although the AI got all the information about what the case was about, it did not get everything about what the lawyer needed it to get, because AI is incomplete, just as what we document and what we do in our work is incomplete. So if you are living in the AI everything camp, you are short of information, and your AI and what you believe is not complete. If you're in the anti-AI, you are also in the incomplete camp, because anti-AI is not going to get us anywhere. AI is not going away. It has great potential. It just cannot survive on its own. We as educators need to know everything we can when we go into that classroom, and we need to be emboldened to tell our students what it can and what it cannot do, and what they need to know to live in this AI world. In our discussions with our students, we need to make sure that when we are in that room, we need to ensure that we are telling our students what AI is, and that we are not here to teach them about AI, but to make sure that this education is not about AI, but what AI can do and impact this education, and how their investment in this education will yield the results that they are working for. I can't tell you how many times, I mean, in the very first day, we talk about the syllabus, what we're going to do, and the questions are not about what we're going to do in this class, but AI can do this. I have an advanced AI class that we're talking about, like will productivity tools like Excel, Microsoft Office, Adobe, Google products, and all that, will they exist? And my students tell me, we don't need to learn anything about these things. We don't need these products anymore. AI can do it better, faster, and all these things. So why do I need these tools? Why are we talking about these things? And I think the bigger question needs to be is not that. It's not whether AI can do these things better. It's not whether your degree is going to lead to a result, but what is it that is at the end of the day that you can gain from this education to work alongside AI? I have created an AI Tuner Institute. And the purpose of my institute is to train students to work alongside AI with their degree or their specialization. And I don't care what your specialization is, AI is going to come to it. You need to know how to work alongside AI, not assume that AI is going to replace your education. It will not replace your education. You need your education, because in this world, AI is not perfect. It needs human judgment and reasoning to get through whatever it is doing. Yes, AI can do a lot of things faster and better than what we thought these tools would do. So if you take an AI, trying to calculate what a mortgage payment is over 30 years with this kind of interest rate, yes, AI can do that in seconds. You don't need Excel to do that. But what you cannot do is tell AI to go run a bank and become a loan officer without a human alongside that process. And that's what we need to make sure that we are, as faculty, are teaching our students, that they need to be working alongside AI, not trusting AI to do all of the work. While students are struggling and faculty are struggling, we need to embolden ourselves to gird ourselves with the knowledge that what we are teaching matters. It matters as much as it did before AI came along. It just needs to recognize that AI is there. What we are doing matters. The purpose of our education matters. We just need to understand that AI is there. It's not going anywhere. And while all these corporations are deploying it faster than we can count, we need to make sure our students understand that AI does not take away the need for a degree. Your degree matters. You just need to understand where AI falls in your degree. Oops. One of the things that happens in students, so if you teach at a PWI such as Duke, a lot of students come into school with imposter syndrome. They don't believe they belong there. They don't know if they understand the curriculum, all these things. I was a college advisor for 2 years while I was at Duke, and a lot of students didn't understand what they were doing or why this matters, or all of these different things about what they were going to do. What AI has done is it has accelerated that. They have made students more wary of who and what they are. So a lot of faculty, come, you can't bring a computer to the classroom. You can't do this, or you can't do that. A lot of the rules that we had in place about how we educate students and what we did in our classrooms has changed how students view us as faculty, right? They see us as the problem now. They don't necessarily see AI as the problem, but the faculty are the problem. We are the problems because we don't understand. We aren't teaching them. We aren't understanding how AI is or what AI is. I think it's important for every person, whether you are teaching, whether you are a part of the administration, you need to make sure that you aren't antagonizing your students by being anti-AI or ignoring AI or telling them it'll be okay, or not knowing yourself, shrugging your shoulders and saying, I don't know. This is what pushes our students further away from our academic environment, is being anti-AI. We need to understand AI. We need to make sure that we are understanding what these tools can and cannot do. We should not rely on AI as being the only answer in our classroom, but we need to know what AI does in our discipline. So whatever you're teaching, know where AI is in that discipline. What does it bring to that discipline? If you feel that your students are uncertain about what they're doing or what they're learning, spend time with them and make sure you're talking about that to the students as a whole, but to individual students as well. If your students feel hopeless or they feel uncertain, care about that. Engage with them. For marginalized students, they are at risk at a higher rate than any other group of students. Because remember, we make assumptions that students know technology. I can promise you they do not. Students know how to use social media. They know how to install apps on their phones. They know how to do things. But the back end of technology, they do not. So when you see a student that is in trouble or unsure about what's next, this is a time for you to take a few minutes to engage with that student and ask, what can I do? If you yourself are uncertain, find someone who knows whatever it is you are uncertain about. And if that means going outside of your university, if that means seeking out experts in this field, do so. But do not leave the students hanging because you are uncertain. Ask questions, find resources. There are a ton of people who say they know AI. There are a ton of people who profess that AI is this and AI is that. They're blowing smoke. I will tell you that AI is still the wild, wild west, and it's everywhere. A lot of people are talking about it. Not a lot of people know about it. Students are uncertain, afraid, and they're not sure where to turn. Your institution is a place of learning. Make sure that they can learn from you. And if you don't know, say that. I don't know, but I will get back to you, and make sure you do that. Bring in people to your university who can answer questions for you so you can answer questions for your students. Make sure that your advisors, the people who are student advisors, know the answer to these questions. And if you don't know, get back to your students. Because what we don't want is, we don't want students dropping from our universities. We don't want students dropping out. We don't want students failing. We don't want students who are not completing a career degree. They need these degrees. AI cannot take over our world. We do not want to find us in a situation where we have AI doing everything incorrectly, because it cannot take over. What China's doing is flawed. Their AI product, when I looked at it, is broken in so many ways. But that's the way their systems work. They talk to your students, get help, ask questions. If you don't know, tell your students you don't know, but get back to them, find the answers, and go back and engage with your students. One of the things I really want you to get out of this talk for me is you need to know what students do not know. And one of the ways to do that is to name what is happening honestly. One of the things that we as leaders do is a lot of times we fake it till we make it. So if we don't know something, we may say something casually, like, this disruption that's happening is really happening. Tech companies are leading the way, but what is happening, and I will tell you, I'll use Duke as an example. One of the things that we would do is we would hire the faculty and hire their spouse or a family member because we wanted the faculty, and that added fat to the university. And I would say at our university, and I don't work for Duke anymore, so I'm only speaking about Duke, we would end up having, if we had, faculty, we would end up having 20 or 30 people in our department that were there because we wanted the faculty. And that fat now is being stripped away and put into the marketplace, the workforce marketplace. That's a part of the disruption. It's not AI disruption, it's just disruption because companies are looking for ways to cut fat or get rid of people because they don't have money for all of that. All of that is a part of a disruption. It's not AI disruption, it's just a disruption. But all of those people going into the marketplace is causing problems for work. It's causing problems for how we see what's happening for jobs. We need to speak to that and tell students the truth. So one is AI disruption, one is workforce disruption, but they're coming together at a perfect storm. We need to tell our students that and why that's happening. We need to make sure that students understand it's important that humans be involved in every aspect of AI deployment or an AI arrangement. So if you see in your school, your university, they're starting to bring in more and more AI products, make sure that they know and use North Carolina Central. So Google the North Carolina Central Doge DEI grant retraction. Google it, because that's what happened at Central. It can happen at your university too. AI coming into your university, and Central is deploying AI in spaces. If AI is coming to your university, make sure that your university understands that it needs someone else besides just AI making decisions. Humans need to be engaged with AI every step of the way. It can't be AI comes in and says, let me just change that thought for just 1 second. AI support desk and help desk becomes AI. You can't leave that to just AI by itself. Everything that AI is deployed, it needs life mass or humans engaged at the exact same time, who are marginalized or who are on the fringes of our education, that we understand that they need us as much as we need them. Marginalized students are fragile now more than they ever have been because they have so little resources. There's nowhere to go. There's no legal ramifications for them. There's no support ramifications. There are very few safety nets for them. There's very few places where they can fall. So if you and your university are not protecting those students, they're going to be out here in this marketplace with very few resources. I call skin in the game. Put skin in the game for these people. Do not allow them to free fall into a world without very many resources for them. I want to say this. When you talk about AI, talk about it as a tool, not as a place that is the be all end all that it is. It is not. It is simply a tool. It is like your phone or like your computer. It is a tool. It is nothing more than that. We should not have it as great be all almighty thing. It is a tool. We should not have it sitting out here as this, oh my God, we've got this great thing. It is not. It is a tool that needs human intervention every step of the way. when I created, so I have a podcast called AI and the Tuner, and I talk about this every single day. The institutional tuner is the person who supports AI in the workplace. Every single way we go, we should not leave AI alone. In the way that we look at AI at work, we should also think about AI and mental health, because what's happening in our space, our students are concerned in a way that they are struggling, not only academically, they're struggling socially, they're struggling in their relationships with each other. Because when you hear the conversations with students, when they talk to each other, they talk about fear. They talk about what is going to happen for me. Am I going to be okay? Well, I have a future. We need mental health as well when we think about AI.
Quick time
I
check
talked
for you,
about this.
Dr. Newton. It's just
How much time?
about 7 or 8 minutes left.
Okay. I think I'm almost done. I talked about this before. When social media was deployed, we had no guardrails. It was just put out there. Everybody had it. And all of a sudden, we started seeing concerns, bullying, all kinds of things happen on social media. And here we are. When did this social media came out? In the 90s. Here we are in 2026, and we're still trying to get regulations around social media. And artificial intelligence is in the exact same place. And we have done so without thinking anything about what it is. And not only this, the difference between social media and artificial intelligence is social media was narrow. Artificial intelligence is wide, and it's going everywhere in every aspect of things. I have some questions for you, but I want to say one thing before we get into the questions about this. How have you thought about AI in your process? I'm going to go down here to one little thing here. Before you leave this presentation, I want you to think about AI in a way that you haven't thought about it before. If you could put the genie back in the bottle, would you? So I would ask this last slide, if you want to get in touch with me, this presentation is here. You can get in touch with me here. I think Perlita is going to make this slide available to everyone. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Hello?
They will be posted on the website along with the recording after the conference.
So you can find me here. And so these are my questions I have for you, just about what you are doing in AI. So I can ask them or you can answer them however you want to do this. So questions?
We encourage folks to use the chat to ask questions. We have one from Josh Knapp. Could you please share with us any resources that could help us stay as current as possible on AI uses in education and the workplace and how this intersects with vulnerable populations of students? What sources do you use or prefer?
I do. I have a lot of resources. How do you want me to answer this question?
It's up to you if you'd like to say them out loud. It's being recorded, and then we can go try to look those up and put them in some kind of show notes.
So one of the resources that I strongly suggest you use is there is an AI tool. Let me see if I can find you the link here for this here. So there is where is it? Nope. So there is a conference called that does not a conference, a website that tells everything about AI. It's pervasive, invasive. I was looking at it. I don't know if I want to share that, but how about this? How about I tell you this? Go to my two sites and start there and reach out to me from there, and I will provide additional resources. How about that? So one of my sites is AITunerInstitute.org and AIMentalHealthSafetyPolicy.org. And you can reach me at Dr. Newton AI, drnewton.ai at iCloud.com. Let me say that one more time. drnewton.ai@icloud.com. Other questions?
See another one here. We need guardrails, but policy creation is slow as molasses juxtaposed to the rapid deployment of AI. How do we approach this carefully but in a timely manner?
Well, with this current administration, they stripped away all guardrails and were very, very strongly against any guardrails. Anthropic, the folks that make Claude, have put in guardrails. They have put in some very strong guardrails about mental health and about some of their uses. ChatGPT, OpenAI stripped away all of their guardrails. Gemini has no guardrails. Google's Gemini has no guardrails. What we can do is insist on guardrails within the spaces that we can, and that is going to the manufacturers of these products. As I said to you earlier, I have a Google alert that I have that says every time one of these AI tools is sued. It is amazing. I think right now in 2026, there have been 109 lawsuits filed against AI for various things. Most of them have been against young people from creating chatbots, human-like chatbots that they can engage with, and some of them have led young people down pretty terrible roads. Others have been about information being regurgitated and used in ways that they didn't particularly care for. So, in other words, ChatGPT said something to a young person, and the young person reposted that out on social media, and that kind of spread out to a whole bunch of people, and that information was used inappropriately. But guardrails are hard. The only way you're going to get guardrails is go to the manufacturer, because unless this administration changes how they feel about guardrails, it's not going to happen legally. As you see with social media, Facebook or Meta, as they're called, and I think they own Instagram. TikTok has talked about guardrails, but as you can see, they're very loosey-goosey. They're not firm. Nobody wants to control how you interact with their tools, because what they want to do, and I tell this to people all the time, anything free, you are the product. So if you have Gmail, you're the product. If you have social media, you are the product, because they collect your data and they massage it, they sell it, and they use it against you. They send you ads and all that stuff. And right now, unless you have the $20 a month ChatGPT, $20 a month Claude, I think Gemini is like $3.99 per something another. If you're not paying for it, you are being charged for it and your use and your data. So the way you get your money back is to insist that these people put things in place that will make you safer. I interact with OpenAI on a daily basis. They hate seeing a mail from me because I'm constantly arguing with them about something they're doing wrong. I use these alerts I have, and I send them to them and say, here's what you're doing wrong. That's what you can do. If you see something, create an alert that's something concerning to you, and send that to that manufacturer or that company and say, hey, here's what I see that's happening. And they will interact with you. They will talk to you. They will, say, I appreciate you sending me this, but that's the only way I know to do that. That's how Facebook, Meta, stopped doing what they did, is because people started, putting in these mass emails telling them to stop doing that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Newton. We're just about at the end of our time and getting ready to start our opening remarks for the conference. But everyone, please, we had over 60 people join this amazing presentation. Let's all thank Dr. Newton for her contributions. And we will be posting the slides and some links to the different resources she shared on the website as soon as possible.
And if you
Thank
need me
you,
to
Dr.
speak at your event, call me. I'm happy to speak at your event. I'm happy to do that.
And Dr.
Wonderful.
Newton, we are always happy to have you in our conference. So thank you so much for your amazing speech. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so very much.
Here again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm coming.
And everyone, we're about to start our opening speech shortly. So please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, because as Kevin mentioned, we have more than 60 people in the room. and really we would like to get to know you. So feel free to join introducing yourself, like mentioning your name, institution, and when you're joining from. Yeah. And Kevin, should we get started too? Maybe.
I think so. We're ready to go. And I see Dr. Gilkerson. Chancellor Gilkerson is here.
That's wonderful. And hello again, everyone. We are so glad you're here with us for the 6th annual Peralta Online Equity Conference. Isn't it amazing? This is the 6th year. And whether you're joining from the United States or beyond, we appreciate you taking the time to be part of this important space. My name is Didem Ikici. I'm an ESOL instructor and Guided Pathways faculty coordinator in College of Alameda. I'm also a member of the Online Equity Initiative at Peralta Community College District. And I'm very excited to open up the first day of the conference with my wonderful colleague, Kevin Kelly, today.
Hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining us live, and also to those who are watching the recording. I have been working in higher education for over 25 years as a faculty developer, an academic technology leader at San Francisco State, as a consultant, an author, and now as the interim executive director of the California Community Colleges Digital Center for Innovation, Transformation, and Equity. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with Peralta since 2017, 8 years now or more, 9, and fostering this global equity community for 6 years. This conference has become a meaningful tradition, one that brings together educators, staff, and leaders and students who are committed to advancing equity and inclusion in online education, on-ground education, and more. Over the past 6 years, we've built a community rooted in learning, analyzing, and building inclusive practices.
Yes, and teaching and learning keeps changing, especially in the age of AI. But our commitment to equity stays the same. So for the next 3 days, we'll have an opportunity to exchange ideas, challenge assumptions, and explore practices that better serve all of our students. And we are very excited about that. Thank you again for joining us.
Over the last 6 years, the conference welcomes hundreds of participants from across the globe. This year as well, we are excited to reconnect educators, researchers, and practitioners from all over the world who are dedicated to equity. 2026 speakers and participants so far, people are still registering as we speak, come from Algeria, Australia, Canada, Grenada, Mongolia, Morocco, Norway, Spain, St. Kitts and Nevis, Turkey, United Kingdom, and the United States. We're especially excited to learn from the diverse perspectives and expertise from around the world, to be inspired by unique experiences and ideas that enrich our discussions and enhance our collective dialogue for the next 3 days. We hope that you are also excited to engage in collective dialogue with your colleagues from around the world. If this is your first time at the Peralta Online Equity Conference, let us tell you that we structured each day of the conference based on the 3 concepts of the online equity training that Peralta built. First, you learn, then you analyze, then you build. The presentations on each day align with these concepts, and so we believe every session will inspire you more to take action for equitable practices in our classrooms collectively.
And we also want to acknowledge many colleagues whose dedication made this conference possible, from moderators to presenters, and to each one of you participating today. Thank you so much. Your presence and engagement is definitely making this space so powerful. And speaking of leadership and commitment, we'd like to recognize someone who has been a strong and consistent advocate for equitable and inclusive practices across the Peralta Community College District. Chancellor Gilkerson has demonstrated ongoing support for initiatives that center student equity, access, and success. So it's our honor to welcome her to share a few words and help us officially open this year's conference. Chancellor Gilkerson, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning, everyone, from who are here and those who'll be watching the recording later. Thank you for being here. It's truly a privilege to open this space and one that brings educators, practitioners, and leaders who are deeply committed to our students and to really, right, the ongoing work of equity in online education. And I just want to name this from the start. This is not just a conference, as Dr. Ikeji was just saying. This is not just a conference, right? In its sixth year, this conference is part of a broader movement, one where we are actively reimagining what equitable online education can be, not just here at Peralta, but across our institutions and communities. And that matters, right? Because you all know, and I know that the stakes are really high. So thank you to Dr. Ikeji, Kevin Kelly, Chelsea Cohen for their leadership, organizing, and supporting this movement, to Macmillan Learning for their support, and to all of the presenters and attendees for actively engaging in action that understands these stakes. I guess I kind of wanted to begin with a moment that's been sitting with me. Recently, I was talking with a group of students about their online learning experiences. And one of the students said something that stopped me, frankly. And they said, I don't like my online class, not because it's hard, but because it feels fake. They went on to describe discussion boards where the responses all sound the same, where it's clear that AI is generating the answers, where the act of engaging, reading, thinking, responding has been reduced to something, frankly, transactional for them. And what they were really naming wasn't just frustration with AI. What they were naming was, I think, a loss of authenticity, a loss of connection, a loss of meaning. And if that's the experience, then we have harder questions to ask. What are students actually learning? Because this isn't just about engagement, it's about whether students are developing the skills, the judgment, and the confidence they need to succeed beyond our classrooms, to enter the workforce, to adapt, to complete, and to build sustainable, stable futures for themselves and their families. We know the generational impact we have in our classrooms and what our degrees and certificates matter to them. And if our students experience online education as performative rather than participatory, then we have a deeper issue than just the technology, right? We have a quality issue. We have an equity issue, because we know this. When online education falls short, it doesn't fall short evenly. I mean, I was listening to Dr. Newton this morning, right? We've seen the data across California and nationally. While online learning has expanded access, it has consistently produced inequitable outcomes. Students of color, low-income students, and first-generation students are less likely to complete online courses compared to their peers. So access alone is not equity. Design matters, and you know this. This is why you're here. Engagement matters. Connection matters. And that's why the work you're already been doing through frameworks like our equity rubric is so critical. It reminds us that equity is not accidental. It's intentional. It's built into how students experience representation, interaction, and support in our courses. You well know artificial intelligence is not coming. It's already here, right? And this is the entire day. It's as illustrated by Dr. Newton and other presenters this morning. Our students are using it, our faculty are navigating it, and our institutions are trying to define it. I saw questions in the chat today. Where's the policy? Where are the guardrails, right? And we're, it's sort of like the building while we're flying. But I just got back from a conference for community college trustees, right? And everywhere, this was part of that conversation. What does AI mean about jobs, about academic integrity, about disruption? But I want to offer a different framing. So what if this moment is not just about AI? What if it's a mirror? It's a mirror asking us to return to the fundamentals. What does meaningful learning actually actually look like? What does authentic engagement require? How do we design experiences where students want to think, not just submit? Because if AI can do the assignment, then maybe the assignment was never the point, right? If AI can do the assignment, maybe the assignment was never the point, colleagues. So maybe the question really isn't how we compete with AI or police it, right? Maybe the question is, how do we design learning that is so human, so relational, so meaningful that AI cannot replace it? And that's what brings us here. That's why we're here. This conference is not just about ideas, it's about movement. We are here to learn from one another, to analyze what is and is not working, and ultimately to build something together, to build courses that foster real engagement, to build systems that center our most vulnerable students, to build practices that close, not widen equity gaps, and to use our data not just to report outcomes, but to interrogate them, to ask who is thriving, who is struggling, who is disengaging altogether, and what the freak are we going to do about it? As you can, and today I can't ignore that today is May 4th, right? So yes, may the 4th be with you. But I've been thinking about that phrase a little differently this morning. The force isn't something external. It's not something we wait for. It's something we cultivate. It's something we channel. And in education, the force is us. It's you. It's me. I did it the wrong way. It's you. It's me. It's right. And it's about how we show up for our students. It's how we design learning experiences. It's how we choose to center humanity, even in digital spaces. That is the force we need to strengthen in this next frontier of higher education. So as we move through this conference, I want to leave you with a few questions. What will you stop doing that no longer serves students? What will you redesign to create real engagement? And what are you committed to building so that every student in every online space feels seen, challenged, and supported? Because this is not just the next chapter of online education. This is the next frontier of how we serve students. And they are counting on us to get it right. So thank you again for this wonderful day, for inviting me to be a part of it. And I'm truly excited about what we'll learn and build together. Thank you.
And
Wow.
Chancellor
Thank you, Dr.
Gilchristen. Oh, sorry,
Yes.
Kevin. I was just,
No.
I love this like the last part, and I put it in the chat, so I wanted to repeat that. If AI can do the assignments, maybe assignment was never the point. We should redesign things in such a meaningful way that AI can never replace. And this is so meaningful, that Dr. Gilchristen, thank you so much. And so much to reflect on throughout the 3 days, but this was one of the signature remarks. So thank you very much. Kevin?
You stole the words out of my mouth to
Oh,
them,
I'm so
and
sorry. I was
that's
so
okay.
excited.
But it is exciting, and inspirational is the correct word. Thank you, Dr. Gilkerson, for joining us to kick off the conference. Not only were the words inspirational, but I love the intentionality behind those 3 questions. And I'm going to take those to heart myself, not only in the classroom, but in the work that I do at the Digital Center, supporting students across the entire California Community College system. And we'd be remiss if we didn't thank you at least one more time, but probably more to come, for your unending support for this conference. And as you mentioned, we also want to thank our conference sponsor, Macmillan Learning. Their generous contribution supports our amazing keynote speaker tomorrow, Dr. Thomas Tobin. And having made all those remarks, we have about 1 minute before our first session is about to start. We have 3 different concurrent sessions, so please go to the program or the email that you received this morning to see which Zoom link to use. But we have made some adjustments to the schedule based on people's work schedules, so do check that conference website for updates. Don't worry if there are any sessions you have to miss, as the recordings will be shared on our YouTube channel later on. Dedem will share the link in the chat so that you can subscribe and come back to watch any presentations you missed. you may be watching one now. Have a wonderful conference, and we'll see you in a Zoom room near you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And we are
Yeah.
getting ready to kick off our next speaker, Dr. Brandy Jones Thomas.
Ooh,
And
not yet. Not yet. I
not yet.
wish. Not doctor.
All right.
It's Brandy today.
Well,
Yeah.
let's just say Brandy and Gregory then. We'll just start with that. We'll give
All right.
everybody just 1 minute to collect their breath from our opening remarks, and then we'll get started. And I will spotlight you both in the meantime.
All right. So as we all get settled again, I'm so glad to be here. So glad to be with Greg. This is an opportunity to talk about something we are both passionate about, but also sure that some of you will also become passionate